Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is April 13th, 2010, and it is Day 9 Daily, number 100. Look as my camera auto-adjusts the light. I repositioned it back to that old angle. Did number 99 with this webcam actually on top of my computer, but I kept actually naturally looking down here. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with the Diablo 3 poster, and now because I actually have an HD camera, you can even see the Starcraft II poster there, so that's pretty awesome. So today is an unbelievably special Day 9 Daily because first of all, I just hit 3 digits for the first time ever, and 3 digits is cool. Also, today we're not going to be doing any analysis of any games. No games at all. It's just going to be my life playing StarCraft because I think people just don't quite appreciate how into games that they are. I have grown up playing StarCraft. The things that I have learned by playing StarCraft have helped shape me so much. And I just want to do a big dedication to the community to just say, man, just be proud you are a StarCraft gamer. There is nothing more cool than being proud of the things that you love. And it was almost really emotional today as I'm like trying to sort through all the memories I have from StarCraft and to try to just boil them down into something that's, reasonably entertaining. So, as you'll note, I even have taken notes to everything to make sure I don't skip anything. So let's just talk about StarCraft. So let us begin at the very beginning. When I first bought StarCraft, I can still remember it. I grew up in a little town in Leawood, Kansas, which is in the middle of nowhere. It's in Kansas, right? Well, I mean, it's part of Kansas City, but still. I'm from Leawood, Kansas, where the land is flat and evolution is still a theory. It's the line I always use. We lived in this awesome little house that was right next to this mall that Nick and I could walk across the street to every day. And of course, there was like a computer software store there where we would buy all our various electronics. And we were super pumped for StarCraft because we played Warcraft 2, baby. Yes, indeed, we were Warcraft 2 players. And like any kid, you just go up to your mom, and you're just like, Mom, and you tell your mom about the genius shit you have just devised in your head. Mom, did you know that in Warcraft 2, a catapult outranges a tower? Ooh, baby, now all of a sudden I can never lose to towers. Just simplistic junk like that. We were your standard little newbies, my brother and I. So my brother Nick, who's probably more commonly known as Tasteless in the StarCraft community, but he shall be Nick for this story. So my brother Nick and I, we walked to the mall and we paid like $52.36 or something for our first game of StarCraft ever. And it was so funny because the guy at the counter was a huge nerd too, so he was just as excited about StarCraft. So he even knew the price off the top of his head. I mean, that's very standard nerd sort of stuff, So Nick and I bought it for the first time ever, and we only owned one computer in the family because, now we're ritzy ballers, and we each have our own computer. But back then, we had to, split time, so we would just, crowd against each other, trying to, get as much play time, or at the very least, as much backseat playing time. No, build Zerglings! They're awesome! Trust me! We didn't know what we were talking about. So, I played StarCraft a lot. This is when I was in... God, it must have been 5th or 6th grade when I first bought StarCraft. I know for a fact I was in 6th grade. And after a while, as I'm playing more and more, it rapidly became something that I did, right? I was known for being that guy. Because I would bring the Prima StarCraft strategy to school and, read it. Or just, I know what unit counters what according to Prima, oh, look, here's the easiest way to beat the second Terran single-player mission, right? I was hot shit in 6th grade, man. I got it. And I started playing with my great friends Sean and Charlie. And we would go to each other's house, and we would play. And that was my first ever, networked experience. I had never played against another human being. I mean, I played custom games, which generally, for me, would take, 2-3 days to beat a custom game because, I would make sure that all the units had names. If they were dishonorable in some way, they would have to be executed. I would talk to them, just oh, yeah, I gotta make sure, that Martin the Marine, we gotta give him something special because he has 4 kills, because I just would only attack with 3 or 4 units at a time. But anyways, first ever game that I actually played against real people. And we were god-awful and stuff, and the network eventually crashed. So we went back to playing single-player games on, of course, Big Game Hunters, because that was our favorite map in 7th grade. And oh god, was Brood War even out yet? I guess it was just regular Hunters that we played on. And to make it fair, against the computer, we would only use one cheat code. That was the rule that we created, right? Just one. You can do anything else you want, but you're allowed one cheat code, and it can't be the invulnerability cheat. You can turn on the entire map, turn on the vision, you can get money. For some reason, I opted for mass level 1 upgrades. That's a cheat that you can type in. I was like, yeah, man, I want these workers to start at 111, man. It's going to be the best. So, you know, things sort of progressed from there, and soon enough, my brother and I just started figuring out how to network our two computers together, because we had one really awful old computer, and we also had this network laptop, and we would just like play against each other for hours. But I think perhaps the most significant thing to note about our playtime was that we had a curfew. We were not allowed to play the computer until 3 p.m. Because one day, Nick and I were playing Syndicate Wars. Do you guys remember this game? Oh my god, that's old school. Open up the web browser and look up Syndicate Wars, because I swear to god, I thought that game had the best graphics of anything that had ever existed, right? And you're going to look it up, and it's like 320 by 240. It's all pixelated. You rotate the screen, and it like almost shuts down your computer because it's like too hard for it. But one day, Nick and I were like fighting with each other, like, I really want to, you know, get on. And my mom was like, well, look, you guys are fighting over the computer. You shouldn't even be on the computer anyways. No video games till 3. And we were just like, oh, why did we fight about it? If only we hadn't done that. But Mom also made us get up, you know, at like 8 or 9 in the morning in the summers to do like chores, you know, mow the lawn. Because in Kansas, you actually have lawns. In LA, it's pretty much concrete and desert and really high gas prices. So not really much mowing is going on there. And so we didn't have time to actually play. We would be up, and we wouldn't have anything to do. And it's kind of weird, because my mom was like a single working mother, like running her own business. So it's not like she was going to be home to see if we were going to be there, like playing before 3. But Nick and I still, honorable gentlemen that we were, we did not play any StarCraft before 3 p.m. And what we would do is we would walk to the mall every day, that same mall where we would where we got StarCraft, where we'd look at the games. We didn't really have very much money, so we'd just look at the games and read all the backs of the covers. We occasionally would have enough money for orange chicken, and we would sit with our orange chicken from the food court behind the escalator, and we would just talk about StarCraft and talk about video games. And I really think that that was the beginnings of my brother and I just loving discussing games, because I definitely think that probably a majority of people who are listening to this, you know, don't have siblings, based upon just random polls I've seen on Team Liquid and stuff. And I just think it was so helpful to me to just have a brother there who just wanted to talk about StarCraft all day and want to talk about strategies and everything, and just our crazy ideas that we had and everything. And what was awesome about Nick is that, like, I mean, a lot of people have asked questions like, what was it like growing up with Tasteless? Well, it was awesome. You watched Golden TV. How can that be bad? My brother is hilarious. I mean, what's actually funny is that Nick is so funny and so good at just like being on. I actually was the quiet younger brother growing up. And it was cool. I would just sit there, and Nick would just go and go and go and keep being funny and funnier and funnier, and it was great fun, you know, for my brother, my mom, and I, because that was the three of us that grew up together. So like, yeah, God, and we played 1v1 in like everything. You name a game, Nick and I challenged each other to it, man. My brother was like my biggest competitor. We played GoldenEye 1v1, License to Kill Pistols in the Archives. Thank you. Yes, we played Soul Calibur. I played Maxi, and Ivy, and Nick played Mitsurugi because he's cheap, right? And he's unfair. He would just do like the what is it? Like the down kick. It was like kick A. You just did various combinations. Back kick A, down kick A. And he would just alternate them, and I could never beat it. What else we do? Like, even Sega Saturn games like Last Bronx or Sonic Racing. All sorts of stuff. So, I mean, I just grew up... Oh, Street Fighter Alpha. Oh, yes. We just grew up competing with each other and just wanting to, like, one-up each other. And in the olden days of StarCraft, when Nick and I finally got